that there were supposedly protests and then something sprang out of that, an assault sprang out of that. And that was easily ascertained that that was not the fact. And the American people could have known that within days, and they didn't know that.
With all due respect, the fact is we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest, or was it because of guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans? What difference at this point does it make?
Oh, the more I watch that, the more I can't wait for her to run. My gosh, and especially when you combine all that with what Judicial Watch keeps coming up with, and we're joined by Tom Fitton, president of said Judicial Watch, and New York Times bestselling author and producer. Hello, Tom.
Mr. Malzberg, thanks for having me on.
Always great to have you on, sir. All right, so the FOIA request, once again, you hit pay dirt with it. Talk about what we found out with regard to Benghazi and this latest batch.
Well, we had to sue to get access to this information. It wasn't a request. It was answered according to law. We had to go to court to even get the answer, and we got hundreds of documents that were blacked out or redacted from the AFRICOM, the United States African Command, that military, that portion of the military responsible for defending U.S. interests in Africa, obviously, in that area. And the records are largely blacked out, but they demonstrate the material that has been released demonstrates that the military immediately knew it was a terrorist attack. There was a draft order asking for troops in support of anti-terrorist operations to protect vital national assets in Libya. And there's a slide, an intel slide, there's an intel presentation about the Benghazi attack, and they gave us the presentation, all of which almost was blacked out, except one slide that detailed how a group associated with Al-Qaeda had been pressing the United States and pressing for the removal of the United States in Benghazi, and was responsible for the bombing of the consulate previously and an attack on the Red Cross there. So the military knew it was a terrorist attack, and they were prepared to send some type of assets there. We now know that not much was done, and the assets that we had available weren't used in a way that would have impacted the situation either then or after the fact, because Libya just has slid further down into a black hole as a result of our intervention there.
And so when Hillary sits there, you know, looking back and says, what difference does it make why they were killed or who killed them? It makes, all she's doing is covering her butt, because it makes a world of difference. It makes all the difference, doesn't it?
It sure does. And what difference does it make that Hillary Clinton didn't take any steps to protect these people or to try to rescue them or to coordinate with the military? We've gotten the documents from AFRICOM that presumably would show whether the State Department was begging the military to rush to their rescue. There's not any communications that we see that have been introduced to us showing that Hillary Clinton's State Department was requesting military assistance. There's nothing showing that the White House military assistance.
No, neither one. No, absolutely right. I just pray we have a Republican nominee who is relentless on this issue if she's the nominee opposite him or her. Let me ask you about the attendees at the terrorist summit and the people who have visited Obama at the White House. Do we yet have a full list, a full accounting of who these people are? You know, who these Muslim representatives and people are that have been to the White House and been to the terrorist summit?
No, we don't, and there's nothing we could do to force that under law, at least in the District of Columbia. We said the White House visitor logs were subject to the Freedom of Information Act, and President Obama came in and said they weren't, and that was upheld by an appellate court here. So none of that material has been voluntarily released. It'll be released when they see fit, and only if they see fit. And now we had a intelligence official from Russia present, so he knows who was there, but the American people don't know who was there. And one of my colleagues pointed out to me today that the FBI wasn't there. So we got the
right.
Russian
Oh, yeah. We've talked about that at length with Congressman Peter King and others, and Johnson, the head of the Homeland Security Department, said that, well, he wasn't invited not that he just wasn't there, he wasn't invited because they didn't want to give the appearance that it was too, law enforcement centric. They wanted to make it clear that it's about, other things. I mean, please. You're better off that you didn't know. Now that you know, your head's going to spin. Believe me, this is just insanity personified. Tom, keep up the good work, as I always say. Thank you very, very much. And I know we have your book that we're going to put up here, I am told, as we take it out. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, The Corruption Chronicles. Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch, also a great movie by the same name. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be White House correspondent Con Carroll will join us. Don't go away.